That terrible night battle was raging when Meghnad's Shakti weapon struck Lakshman, and in a single moment the entire army seemed to stop breathing. Lakshman lay motionless on the ground. Shri Ram rushed to his side, and for the first time helpless pain became clearly visible in his eyes. Lord Shri Ram lifted Lakshman's head into his hands. The roar of war seemed to fall silent, and only the fear of losing his brother remained. Hanuman was watching this form of his lord. This was not only a crisis of war, it was the hardest moment of Ram's mission, devotion, and the entire Dharma battle. Everyone understood that time was very short. If no remedy was found quickly, saving Lakshman would become nearly impossible. From here begins that immortal story, why Hanuman could not identify the Sanjivani herb, and what he then did that made even the impossible possible. Vaidya Sushena was summoned at once. Everyone's hope now rested on him, that he might examine Lakshman and show a way forward. Sushena examined Lakshman's pulse, wound, and life force. The atmosphere had become so grave that no one even noticed their own breath. Sushena said, "Lord, Lakshman's life now depends upon a special herb. If it is brought in time, he can still be saved." He explained that on Dronagiri in the Himalayas, there were 4 divine herbs, including the life-giving Mrita Sanjivani. Only that could restore Lakshman's life. Sushena named the herbs Vishalya Karani, Sandhana Karani, Suvarna Karani, and Mrita Sanjivani. But there was very little time. Sushena warned that the herb must arrive before dawn. If the sun rose before that, nothing more could be done. The Lord's gaze turned toward Hanuman. That gaze was command, trust, and a cry of compassion all at once. Hanuman bowed humbly and said, "Lord, as long as I have life, I will surely return and save Lakshman." In that moment, Hanuman was no longer only a hero. He became the vow of Ram devotion itself. The hope of the entire army would now fly with him. Hanuman tore through the night sky toward the north. Every moment was priceless for him, because every moment was tied to Lakshman's life. Meanwhile, Ravana also learned that Hanuman had gone to fetch the Sanjivani. He immediately decided to create yet another obstacle. Ravana sent the deceptive demon, Kalanemi. He disguised himself as a sage and created the illusion of an ashram on the way. In the midst of his rapid flight, Hanuman saw a hermitage. The supposed sage invited him to rest and drink water. But even in such urgency, Hanuman remained alert. As he neared the water, signs of hidden deception began to appear. Some traditions say that a cursed being hidden in the water warned Hanuman that this was no sage, but the demon Kalanemi. In a moment, Hanuman understood the deceit. Without delay, he destroyed the demon and resumed his journey. Now Hanuman flew even faster. He knew that every obstacle could weigh heavily upon Lakshman's life. At last, the distant Himalayan ranges came into view. Among those towering peaks stood Dronagiri, where the secret of Sanjivani was hidden. Hanuman reached the mountain. All around him were countless herbs, vines, and glowing medicinal plants shining with divine light. Remembering the herbs described by Sushena, he began searching in every direction. But what stood before him was far more difficult than expected. Many herbs were radiant, many fragrant, and many seemed similar in form. Which one was the true Mrita Sanjivani was not immediately clear. Sushena had described the names and qualities, but Hanuman was not a physician. He was a hero, a devotee, and unmatched in strength, but not an expert in medicinal herbs. He moved quickly from one plant to another, but the more time passed, the deeper his worry grew that delay might prove fatal. Some traditions say that the divine herbs themselves hid away, as though testing what decision Hanuman would make. Again and again, Hanuman remembered that time was slipping away on the battlefield, and Lakshman's life was bound to it. He also understood that if he took the wrong herb, not only time, but Lakshman's life itself could be endangered. At that moment, the anxious face of Shri Ram rose before Hanuman's eyes. That compassion, that pain, that silent plea echoed in his heart. Hanuman thought, "This is no time to be lost in doubt. In Ram's service there is no room for confusion, only for a solution." And then came the extraordinary thought that made this story immortal. "If the herb cannot be identified, then I shall take the whole mountain itself." That was Hanuman's decision. He would not waste time in an unsuccessful search. He would become the solution, and the solution would return with the mountain. Hanuman stood in his colossal form. He grasped Dronagiri in his mighty arms, and nature itself seemed frozen in astonishment. Trees shook, peaks trembled, and with a tremendous roar, Hanuman uprooted the entire mountain. Now Hanuman was flying through the sky, not with the Sanjivani alone, but with the whole Dronagiri. This was not only strength, it was the miracle of wisdom, devotion, and instant decision. Time was still the enemy. Hanuman's speed grew even greater, because on the battlefield the fear of dawn was growing stronger. Back in Lanka, Shri Ram still sat beside Lakshman. Every eye was fixed upon the sky. Would Hanuman return in time? Then a vast shadow appeared in the sky. It was Hanuman, bringing the mountain with him, as though hope itself had flown back. Hanuman placed the mountain near the battlefield. There was no time now for wonder, only for healing. Vaidya Sushena rushed forward. He recognized the correct herb among the divine plants at once. What was difficult for Hanuman was clear to a true healer. The medicine was prepared. Its fragrant radiance filled the whole atmosphere, as though life itself was finding its way back. When the herb was given to Lakshman, every gaze remained fixed on him. In that moment, time itself seemed to stand still. Slowly, the light of consciousness began returning to Lakshman's body. It was as if the darkness of death was retreating and life was finding its path again. Then came that blessed moment. Lakshman opened his eyes. It was as though life, light, and victory had all returned together to the battlefield. Relief, love, and gratitude filled Shri Ram's eyes. Hanuman had not only saved Lakshman, he had saved the Lord's own heart from breaking. The entire Vanara army filled with joy. Yet Hanuman stood quietly, because for him, even this victory was only the completion of Ram's work. So the answer is this: Hanuman could not identify the Sanjivani herb because he was not a physician. There were countless similarly radiant herbs on the mountain, and time was extremely short. According to some traditions, the divine herbs also hid themselves. That made identification even harder, and delay in decision could have been fatal. That is why Hanuman lifted the entire mountain instead of remaining stuck in confusion. This was his greatness. Where identification is difficult, the solution must become greater. This is not only a tale of strength, it is an immortal lesson in wisdom, readiness, devotion, and making the right decision at the right time. Hanuman teaches us that when the goal is sacred and time is short, a true servant does not search for excuses, he searches for a solution. That is why Hanuman is called not only Mahavir, but also Mahabhakt. He teaches us that devotion is not only emotion, but also the right decision taken in crisis. If this story has touched your heart, pause for a moment and bow to Hanuman's devotion and wisdom. Like this video with devotion, share it with your family and fellow devotees, and subscribe to the channel for more sacred stories. May Pavanputra Hanuman bless you with the right path, the right courage, and the right decision in every crisis of life. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman. We will meet again in the next sacred episode.